The first votes in Iowa will be cast in 25 days, and a dispute between the two top Republican candidates is heating up. Donald Trump says questions over Ted Cruz's citizenship could put the GOP in jeopardy. Cruz, who was born in Canada, says there's no question he's a natural-born U.S. citizen because his mother is American.
The child of a U.S. citizen born abroad is a natural-born citizen. People will continue to make political noise about it, but as a legal matter, it's quite straightforward.
Now, Donald Trump was asked if he's doing to Ted Cruz what he did to President Obama. The Republican frontrunner consistently questioned the president's birthplace.
I mean, I have my own theory on Obama. Someday I'll write a book. I'll do another book. It'll do very successfully. But look, with Ted, he should ask for a declaratory judgment because that will clear it all up. And I'm doing this for the good of Ted. I'm not doing it for big because I like him and he likes me. We have a good relationship.
Ted Cruz may be saying, please don't do me any favors. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest said it would be ironic if Republican voters chose a nominee who was not born in the United States.
Face the Nation moderator and CBS News political director John Dickerson is in Washington. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Charlie.
What does Donald Trump think he is doing and accomplishing here?
He's just doing this for the good of Ted Cruz, his friend.
Yes, that's right.
So, he mentioned this once before during the summer about this question of Ted Cruz's birthplace, and I asked him about it a month ago. And I said, will you bring it up again? And he said, well, only if he becomes in the final two. So congratulations, Senator Cruz, you're in the final two. This is the prize, which means he's close enough to Donald Trump that Donald Trump wants to raise doubts about him, wants to create issues, and he's usually a counterpuncher. In this case, he's going at Cruz here without being provoked.
And you saw Senator McCain weigh in. And, John, do you think this was just McCain essentially taking the knife in Donald Trump's back? I mean, it's using Cruz's back and twisting it a little bit?
Yeah, well, with McCain, you never know which of those two he would go after. But you're right, he's not a fan of Ted Cruz, and so he's happy in this case to pile on a little here.
Okay, but John, is there any evidence that this will work? And how does it work?
Well, here's the way it would work. I mean, there's no evidence there's a real burning question among conservatives about the citizenship requirements for the presidency. Where these kinds of things work is if they are a stalking horse for some other set of concerns. And so people start to furrow their brow about this issue. But Ted Cruz doesn't seem to have that problem among conservatives. So if it were to grow into some bigger issue, it would only be because people would have some other concern that they couldn't articulate out loud, and they would use this as an excuse for it. And he doesn't seem to have that problem.
Well, Ted Cruz is not engaging. He's certainly not taking the bait and making fun of it with the jumping the shark reference. Do you think this is a good strategy?
He hasn't taken the bait on any of these needlings that Donald Trump has done. It's an interesting strategy. Usually candidates have to respond, right? You don't want to be defined by your opponent. That's kind of in the playbook. But he has done the opposite. And Ted Cruz has stayed away. And it's very interesting because if he were to engage and make this a big back and forth fight, there is the view among some that it actually gives weight to, and people start to hear the attack, the underlying attack, even if it's being debunked, and start to believe the underlying attack even when it's been debunked. So for right now, he's just going to stay away from these fights.
What's the latest we have quickly on momentum in Iowa? Because it's so...
Cruz has the momentum because he's got, the support ideologically, and he's also got a very strong ground game. He's doing so well there now. Some of his opponents are saying, oh, of course, this is his to win. He's going to win in a landslide. Of course, they're trying to set the expectation super high so that if he doesn't win in a landslide, they'll say, oh, well, poor Ted Cruz only won by 10 points.
Thanks, John. John Dickerson on Face the Nation Sunday. He talked with presidential candidate Chris Christie and also House Speaker Paul Ryan. That is Sunday, right here on CBS.